Hey guys, so welcome back to Factorio. So we managed to get all of this set up last time, got it all filled, and then I went ahead and I ran the system to front load basically all of the storage, all of the incoming and what have you, so that when we get this thing going, we don't have any waiting for gaps in the system. I also basically did the same thing over here. I front loaded all of these, um, so it's all done. Now, the way I had to do that though is we are right on the razor's edge with this power plant. When everything is running, we are over power, and when everything is running at max power, these lines will not keep up. These yellow lines will not feed 20 of the level 2 boilers. They'll feed 20 of the regular boilers easily. But we're right at the point where one line just won't quite handle 20 of the next size boilers. And because we are right at the edge on power, we have a couple options. A, we can go up to the next level of boiler, which these lines definitely will not handle, or we can put in more power plants. Um, but we also need to increase the throughput on the fuel. We're going to have to start looking at better fuel sources and things like that, but we can increase the throughput on fuel is the other thing we can do. So we're going to end up, because we were going to move this anyway, that was kind of what our next step was anyway. We're going to rip the power plant out this episode, and we're going to move it. In preparation for that, I shut down the last of our sand production. We need to move our sand production anyway. Just like everything else, we need to move it. But I shut down the last of our sand production, and I basically sucked everything out of the system and put what we could in storage. I let it all process out. I just turned off the mud, let it all process out, and then we put that in storage. So this is going to come out this episode. In addition, we need those other algae farms. So this is going to come out because it is supplying our power plant anyway. And just the two is not going to keep up with more. That's why we built this. So these last two are going to get ripped out, and they're going to go up here. Now, what that's going to do to us is it's going to take away our charcoal feed for our metal production. All right, so we're going to have to run some charcoal down to this production, but we plan on moving this production anyway. That's kind of one of the next steps. So we will work on that. But primarily, this is only feeding the power plant anyway, with just a little bit going over here to run the furnaces. The other thing we're going to do, now that we have all of this set up, right, is we are going to go down here and we're going to rip this out, and we are going to put the remainder of it up here, effectively increasing our slag production. Now, for starters, what we're going to do is we're just going to run a belt down here until we figure out how we're going to rearrange this and stuff. We'll just feed this with a belt. The main thing we're training is right now is we're training the smelt, or smelt. We're training with railroad trains the slag over to here to produce our fuel, and those are running back and forth, and they were running fine. But what I had to do that is I had to turn off this production, and then I had to alternate between these two, because just by themselves, if I ran both of them, it killed my power plant, because that's how much they suck up. So I put in, I love these switches. They're great. We are in map mode right now, by the way. These switches will allow me to remotely go in map mode and close the switch. And now I've basically powered this whole smelter area. And I can go in map mode and open it back up. I can also do that with the logistics network and that sort of thing. So I did that there. I did one up here to turn this on and off, and I ended up doing 3 of them to isolate this. So we were able to isolate everything and kind of keep things going. And I was able to back and forth with these 2 to get all of it filled up, or these 2 up here. So that was that. So let's look at our tech real quick. So today we are going to grab sulfur processing because we've got sulfur gas down there, and it'd be nice to have some other ways to process it and stuff. Plus, it's kind of the end of that tech line for the red and the green. So we're going to go ahead and grab that. And then we're going to grab these gas steam cracking, oil steam cracking, and rosin techs, just because they're pretty cheap and they're going to open up a lot more stuff for us. So we're going to grab all 3 of those. And then we're going to go down. Now, fluid handling, if I did fluid handling, it's going to give me bigger tanks. It's also going to give me bigger fluid wagons and what have you, but I don't need that yet. But we are going to look at it eventually. Walls, we're really never, I don't think, going to need walls. But, you know, it'll be a tech. We want to get it off of our radar eventually. This desert farming stuff is what we're going to start kind of going into at some point. But for right now, what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to snag all of these advanced processing for metals, and that'll clear us out pretty quickly on those, and we'll get going. So the next thing I want to look at is in looking at the power plant, I've really kind of been playing around with the idea of putting in solar panels, at least for daytime operation. We don't have the accumulators yet, unfortunately, and you really kind of need the accumulators to go hand in hand with the solar panels. But here's something I did find out that was interesting. There are basically 3 sizes of solar panels: small, medium, large. And if you look at these, the small panel, right? Let me get out of map mode. The small panel is basically 1/4 of the large panel. And it's just about half of the medium panel. All right. So give or take, it's 2 to 1, 4 to 1, right? Or 4 to 1, 2 to 1 is how they play out. If we look at the numbers, the small panel needs 6 green circuits, 2 copper, 2 steel. The medium needs 14 green circuits, 4 copper, 4 steel. So a little bit more than double on the green circuits, but the copper and the steel are double. And then on the large panel, if you look at the numbers, it's 4 times as much. So the amount of resources is equal to how much bigger the panel is. And if you look at the output production numbers, it's 26.7 kilowatts for the small. If you multiply that by 4, it's 106.8 or something like that. So it's basically 4 to 1, 2 to 1. So I don't know, excuse me, what the benefit, swallowed wrong. I don't know what the benefit in building the larger panels is, other than maybe ease of connection. They're basically ratio right up, exactly the same. There's no gain to getting the bigger panels. I just thought that was interesting, thought I'd point it out. So let's go ahead, and the first thing we're going to do, we're going to run down here, because I don't have it in hand, and I should have, is we're going to grab some more bots so that we can rip out all of that stuff. And so that we can build. And if you look, I've already pre-built some new generators and some new boilers and some new inserters, so we can just jump right into that without waiting. So we're going to go ahead and grab ourselves Oh, hell, let's grab it all. We can always put it in chest up there. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to rip out our sand production. And we're going to move our power plant. Now, eventually, this is going to have to move. This is all being fed by this last sand production, and we won't have it anymore. So that's all going to have to come out of there at some point as well. But for right now, we're just getting rid of the power. We're just getting rid of the sand production. The sand and mud. And any kind of like the associated stuff that's just kind of sitting there with it. So that's what we're going to yank out right off the bat. And we're going to go ahead and we're going to drop down a chest over here. Let's drop them both down so that we can have a place to put our stuff in. And we're going to go ahead and start out by putting down anything that we're going to use for the plant, basically, for the power plant. All of this will probably fit into those chests. So, the last couple of days here, I think I had mentioned how nice it's been the last couple of days, and summer and this, and or not summer, but you know, it's finally, the winter has kind of broke. It's been in the 60s the last 2 days here in Maryland. Been really nice. Today is February the 13th. Tomorrow's Valentine's Day. I haven't decided what I'm going to buy myself yet. But anyway, it's been in the 60s. Well, I got up this morning and it was snow on the ground. We got about, I would say, an inch of snow overnight. So good old February weather in Maryland. You don't know what it's going to be from one day to the next. This time of the year especially. So it's a bit on the cold side today. It's in the low 30s outside right now. And it is in the, it's, you know, in the mid-afternoon. So that was a little bit of a shock to the system, if you will. All right. You guys do those. I'm going to do this stuff up here. All right. We almost got it all up. Get rid of these poles. They're not being used for anything anymore. All right, there we go. So now we have this area cleared out. The reason I wanted to clear this area out is in order to run fuel down to the power plant. Now, we are going to be training fuel all over the map for other stuff, but I want to prioritize the fuel going to the power plant. Obviously, if the power plant goes out, everything else dies. So I'm going to pull it directly from our supply chain here. So I've set up some outputs. Now I think, and I have to go through and look, I think I can use some red and green wire to control this and prioritize these outputs so that what I can do is have it look at what's on the belt. And then if it's below a certain amount on the belt at any instance, it'll turn these off and prioritize to these ones. That's kind of going to be my plan. I have to look at it and play with it a little bit. But for right now, we're just going to run them straight to the plant. So where are we going to put this plant? And what I did is I went ahead and I already, oops, we put them down there in that box, didn't we? I blueprinted the power plant that was already in place. And then I played around with it a little bit. In order to increase our flow through, we're going to want these. Oh, hell, we're going to want all of that. We can get rid of those. We can get rid of those and that. Right? I think everything else we're going to want to keep. Doesn't matter. We've got plenty of room. So anyway, so what I did is I blueprinted the plant on both sides of the belt. And then I played with it a little bit. And what I'm going to do to increase my throughput is I'm going to lay down 2 feed belts. Now, my thought process with that is when we go up into the bigger plant sizes, it's a little bit overkill right now. We need more, but we don't need 2 full belts more. But we are eventually going to need more. And if we go with larger plants, we're definitely going to need more. So my thought process is, why not plan for the future? We'll put in 2 full belts, and then when we increase the size of our boilers and our generators, we'll be good to go. And then from there, of course, we can increase the speed of our belts, what have you. So, my thought process is this. I think I'm going to come down here, staying inside the green, of course, and I think we're going to line them up. Oops, you know what? Let's turn that off for right now. Right along here. Okay? And right now, I've made enough to be able to feed, or to be able to fill in what we're missing for half the plant. Okay, so only one side of the belt. I only made 10 boilers, I believe. Did I make? Yeah, I made 10 boilers, and I made 20 steam engines. So we won't be able to fill the other side of this yet, but that's okay. I just got to make more of both, and we can do that offline. So I just wanted to turn that off so it didn't use up all of our stuff. Before we got a chance to put it down. And we're not going to have enough in hand to fill in everything. But we can get the basic infrastructure down. And get the lines run out here for fuel. And then we can go ahead and start stealing from our other plant. Now, one thing I did notice is that even though our fuel was not keeping up, our water was keeping up. We were doing just fine with our water. So it's still working out to use 1 pump per plant. Seems to be adequate. If it starts not being adequate, then we can certainly install more water pumps. But that seems to be covering all of our needs right now. Right, so let's go ahead and run out our pumps, or at least our first pump. So yeah, we'll do it there. So that's going to come from, oh, wait a minute. Yeah, I'm in the right place. So that's going to come from the pump, which we got to take to the coast. That'll give us our first pump. That'll be that plant. And we'll come down here to this plant. Do the same thing. Yeah, it does reach, doesn't it? Okay, good. That one does not. Strange how that one did and that one didn't. We'll go back and look at that later. And then our third plant. Yeah, I hear you over there. You leave us be. Why did that? Oh, because I think I hand put that one down to make sure I made it far enough. Strange. There we go. Now they match. Right? Yeah, now they match. That makes me happier. So then we're going to bring our fuel down. And what I think I'm going to do let's do it there. Now, I don't think I'm going to snake this the whole way. I think we're just going to bring it. I just wanted to save as much of that corner as I could. Oh, out of belts. Out of belts. Somehow I'm not surprised by that. That should do us, huh? Let's see if I can run into anything. Come on. See, that's why I don't drive through the city. Alright. That's okay. That's what we got nanobots for, right? To fix things. It'd be nice if in the real world we had bots to go around and fix the shit we broke. Just follow us around all day and fix stuff. Of course, then that would just make us lazy, I guess. We'd be like those people in Wall-E. Now, we don't have that side planned for yet, or we don't have the generators built for it, or the steam engines, but we're going to go ahead and run it anyway. Since we're running the rest of it, we might as well go ahead and run that line too. Right, there we go. So that leaves us 2 more if we want to add on to that plant. Okay, so now let us go down here. And steal the power plant. So let's take a look first. So right now, we are using 58, maybe, you know, close to 60 megawatts. If we go into the map and we turn on this switch and we turn on this switch so that now we are running everything. Now let's see what we want for power. 136, and keep in mind that most of this is not producing because of the fact that we had it all, we've already pre-filled it. So that gives you an idea of what these suckers draw. So now we're going to go ahead and start stealing power plant equipment. I'm not going to steal the belts because we've already got belts. I am going to steal, not steal because they're mine, but I'm going to pull the inserters because we need the the burner inserters for the new plant. But we don't really need the lines right now. We don't need the coal in our inventory, blocking it up. So we're just going to go ahead and take it out. Now, luckily, unlike normal Factorio, we don't have to worry about the biters killing us because we don't have power to our lasers right now. So it kind of frees us up to be able to do this, thankfully. Alright, let's go up here and get this puppy installed and hook it up to the network and see if that is going to meet our power needs. If not, we'll just have to build some more boilers and some more steam engines to finish up the other side of that line, which we're going to do anyway. I mean, I was planning on doing that off camera anyway. Just to kind of complete the set, if you will. Alright, there we go. So that's all hooked up. Why does that... Oh, I know why it doesn't have power. Because it's set up for... And that should be the same way, yeah. It's set up for single-sided, but it's no longer single-sided. So we actually have to go in here and put poles in. There we go. Now that should be everything hooked up there. We just got to run it out to our power system. And we're just going to run it right to here. And see how much that jumps. Now, I don't think... No, we didn't, did we? We did not join our plants. So we need to join our plants. Now if we hook it up, everything will go, right? Yeah, now everything's going. So now, we can go up here. We can turn that on. And it'll start shoving fuel down towards us. Yep, here it comes. So, let's see what that's doing for us. Oh, yeah. So we got 182. We're only drawing 75. But again, like I say, that is not running up there right now. It's simply drawing off of the reserves that are already there. So let's go over here and turn that puppy on. And then these trains are set up. They're just, you know, wait until load, wait until empty, wait until full. And they will go back and forth and keep this supplied. So now let's see where we stand. We are very close to maxing out, but we are able to run everything pretty much at this point. Oh, because we don't have enough coming down yet. We don't have it coming down yet. All right, very soon, everything will fuel up, and then we should be able to keep going. Because right now our power plant's dead because it's got no fuel. What I think I'll do, just to give it some time to catch up, is we will go over here. Where is it? Where's my switch? Oh, it's up here. And we're going to turn this switch off. That's going to kill that for right now. Until we got our power plant completely fueled up and running. Now, that doesn't have power, but how about everything over here? This all seems to have power. Okay, good. That's just that little area because we picked everything up anyway. So it doesn't much matter. All right, so everybody should be starting to get fuel now. And with having 2 lines down here, even on full blast, it should be able to keep up with our fuel requirements, as long as we continue to provide enough fuel. And I think this is going to provide. We were running everything off of 2 before. Now we're going to have 6. There's no reason we shouldn't be able to keep that going. All right, so now let's go on over here and kick in our power and see what this looks like. So yeah, we're still pretty close to our production. We're going to want to put in the other side of this. And that is easy enough to do. It should be this one right here. So that'll put that down. Then we just need to build the boilers for it. And that'll get that side going. Meanwhile, we can fill in everything. Everything should be filled in at that point. Yep. All right, good to go. We just need to build boilers and steam engines. So we're going to want plates and stone, basically. All right, so we're going to want a bunch of iron plates. Just pick them up where we can for right now. We want steel too, so we might as well just pick them both up. And then we're going to want stone. Alright, so there's our 10 boilers. Now we're going to need 10 steam engines, so we need more steel plate. So that was 3, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. All right, there we go. So we'll just let that build. Meanwhile, we'll go up here and we'll pick up this algae plant that's not doing anything and get that out of our way. All of that stuff that's disconnected right there. We'll go ahead and snag it next. No sense leaving it sit there, doing nothing. Other than taking up space and breathing good air. All right. So we've got the boilers done. We've started on the steam engines. Oh, we also have to make burner inserters. The reason I'm using both is the burner inserters are not keeping up with what I need, But with the burner inserters, if I ever power completely goes out, they'll allow me to recover as soon as fuel comes in, because they'll fuel themselves and then they'll start fueling whatever. So I like to have the burner inserters in there. I didn't used to do that, and then my buddy Joe Mama kind of started doing it a lot, and I saw the sense of it, so I went ahead and started doing it. All right, so let's go down here. We're going to drop off the stuff that we have in hand and get it out of our way, with the exception of we're going to get some iron plates to make burner inserters. But everything else, we're just going to drop in a chest down here to get it out of our way. So all of that, because we don't need it. All of that we don't need. Don't need that. We don't need that. Okay, so let's get some iron real quick. Oops, we don't need the steel, just the iron. Oh well. We're making one there. That's 8. All right. So while we're waiting on that to build, let us go up here, and we are going to snag up our fuel processing up here. Finally gonna pull this out. So we're gonna kill the feeds. We're going to let it finish processing what it can. And then all of that's going to come out and go up into that plant. All right. Let's get our tech real quick. So we're going to finish these out. And then what does this give us? That gives us electric boilers and steam. Can we make perpetual motion? I don't think so. But I don't know that we need that. Lube is going to give us motors. Motors will start to give us robotics. Yeah, we can start to have regular robots. So we'll take that. We'll take the plastic. Take the motors. Take the batteries. Oh, now we can, well, not quite. We're going to snag accumulators as soon as we can, though. So then we can start actually kind of using the solar panels. And they're not real expensive to build, and once they're built, they're built. So that'll be a nice supplement to our fuel, to our power plant. Did we not build? Oh, we only built 10. We need 20, so we need 10 more of those. Okay. Well, how are we doing? Oh, we're doing fine. We are doing fine. All right. So there we go, guys. There's that. It's up and running. I will build the rest of those off camera. I will move the rest of the algae farms off camera. And I think I'm going to move the rest of the slag processing off camera. Because right now we're processing slag in 2 places. We're going to steel up those machines. We're going to steel up all of these and put them in our new plants, which, you know, seem to be running okay. How's this one over here looking? I mean, we only got half of it running because we don't have these two down here, but it is still keeping up just plenty fine. So I think we'll be good to go, guys. So there it is. That's the plan. Off camera, I'm going to go ahead and fill these two in and get these two moved. It's just a matter of sucking these up with the bots and putting them where they're already figured out to go. And then tech-wise, we got our tech research going. And we're getting close to even lasers, but not that we're going to really need them, but we're getting close to lasers, but we're getting close to bots, which is really what's kind of nice. We get that, and then we'll be able to do our construction bots and have regular construction bots. That'll be kind of nice. So that's a 75 for that, and that's 100 for that. Yeah. So I may pick those two up off camera, depending on how long it takes me to get the rest of this stuff done. So there we go, guys. We've got our new power plant up and running, and we're getting there. All right, talk to you later. Bye.